of the States of America.
Roll call, please.
Here.
Jason Clark,
Here.
Jake Clancy,
Here.
Christina Lindsay,
Here.
Bruce Switzer, Keith Vasquez,
Here.
Arlene Bailey.
Here. We have a quorum. Adopt and approve the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the public hearing for the tax rate.
Move. Oh, do I? Yeah. Move to set the tax levy operations at $3.22 and the debt service at $1.19 for a total levy of $4.41
Second. All right. Good evening. I have just a brief presentation tonight to kind of go over the numbers and what we're looking at this year as far as the tax rate. Here you'll see we have broken it down into two main categories, real estate and personal property, both for Clay County and Clinton. And you will see overwhelmingly most of our assessed valuation does come from Clay County. You add it all up, the grand total for both counties, for both real estate and personal, just under 620,000 or 620 million. And that is an increase of 11.02% from the prior year. Keep in mind, this is a reassessment year, which makes it higher than it would have been last year for a non-reassessment year. People get assessed by 4 different categories and 4 different percentages. So if you have a home, 19%, commercial 32, agricultural 12, and personal property is 33 1/3. So to calculate how much tax on your bill, you can take your market value, which you can go online and look that up, and then multiply your residential home times 19%. That gives you your assessed value. Then if you multiply it by the rate, and then by 100, it'll give you the tax bill that you will be expected to pay. Here is a breakdown of where our main tax dollars come from, and you can see overwhelmingly 74% of the grand total comes from residential. And I will tell you, in comparing that with our neighbors and those around us, that is definitely on the high side. So hopefully more commercial comes in, and that'll help reduce the burden on residential homes. I went ahead and, if you remember last year, I adjusted the home value because, as you know, home values are going up. So I have given you a sample of a $300,000 residential property, what that tax bill would look like last year with the tax rate at 4.6226 versus this year where it's gone down to 4.4179. So you'll see if your home did not increase in value, you are actually going to see a reduction in your tax bill. However, the next slide, if your home did go up the 11.02%, you're going to see an increase. If your home went up 11.02%, your value went up to $330,060, multiply it by the rate, you'll see overall your taxes went up about $160 annually. Additional revenue. You'll see here that additional revenue due to reassessment is estimated at $640,000. New construction pulls in another $236 for a total additional operating revenue of just over $840,000. There is some additional revenue for debt service, just under $94,000, but there is Senate Bill 190, also known as a senior tax program. The estimated impact is we're missing out on about $221,000 in revenue on the Clay County side, and then another approximate $10,000 on the Clinton side. So when you figure that into the equation, our new operating revenue is closer to $610,000. Final slide. you'll notice that the general fund or the incidental fund is decreasing by just over 20 cents. We are voluntarily rolling back the debt service levy just a tiny little bit. And then final comment is, given that the levy is dropping and dropping significantly, that opens the door for us to really think about the future, making sure the levy's set right to where our revenue will meet the needs of the district. So that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions or turn it over to public comments. So.
Doug, is it accurate to say then, so folks, as they pay their tax bill, may feel like, will be paying more, assuming that their house has gone up, assuming their house has been, the assessed value has gone up, but that increase is not because the tax rate has gone up. They're going to be paying more because the assessment has gone up.
Absolutely. It's because their home's worth more. And so someday when they go to sell their home and it's worth more, they're going to get to pocket that money. And unfortunately, as your home goes up, you have to pay more in taxes, even if it was left flat. But in this case, it's actually going down. So it could be that they're seeing an increase in home value, but they could still see a reduction in their taxes. So if it's a small one. Great question. Anything else?
Any other?
All right.
So now we have time for public comment. We have some. We did. Do we thought we had someone that did sign up for public comment. Are they here? Okay, then we will not have any public comment. Are we ready to vote? Right. The roll call, is it? Yeah, it is. Roll call. Does it say that? Oh,
Yes.
ready to vote.
Notice minutes, okay, I was on a different page.
All right, so was I.
Give me 1 second. so
You're
sorry.
fine.
I moved to a different meeting to look back at last year. Okay, let's give her a roll. Matt Baker,
Yes.
Jason Klein,
Aye.
Jake Klingensit,
Yes.
Christina Lindsay,
Yes.
Bruce Switzer,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Darlene Bailey.
Yes. Thank you. Next, we have school spotlight. Dr. Gustafson and Ms. Berry.
So I brought the real stars of the show here today. I'm just going to give a brief overview. Last year we talked about our internship program. This year we're going to talk about a little bit about our Client Connected Project program. When we started with our MBAs and our real world learning, this one was the hard one to kind of wrap our head around. Didn't really know what it was all about. Brought in somebody to kind of go over how they do client connected projects from a different district, and all of our teachers are just kind of like, we can't do that. Luckily, we had people like Caitlin Fountain who said, you know what, this is a good thing for our kids, and a lot of early implementers that really have made this the strong point of our program and allows us to have as many kids get MBAs as they did. Because I think last year it was 100% of our students graduated with an MBA, and they averaged 3.1 or 3.3 MBAs per graduate. And this Client Connected Project is a big reason why. So I'm going to turn it over to Emmy Berry. She's hit the ground running. She has been a great addition to our district and has taken this on and going to give you more information about it.
Good evening. Again, my name is Emmy Berry. I'm the Career Readiness Coordinator for the district, and I'd like to start off by giving a little bit of background information about what client-connected projects are. So client-connected projects are when students team up with the local business or organization and solve a real problem for them. The students use and apply what they've learned in class to build professional skills and also create solutions that benefit both the client and the community. And these experiences are also meant to be leadership opportunities for our students, and students can speak to them in future interviews and can certainly list them on resumes as a professional experience that they've been engaged in. And client-connected projects allow students to earn an MBA or a market value asset as well. And next, we'd like to share a couple of examples of the great client-connected work that's happening in the high school. And then we have some students and Mrs. Fountain, one of our teachers, to speak to their experiences specifically as well. And this is just a small sampling of the client-connected project work that's being done at the high school. So in our web design class, Jacob Hill does a great project each year where he connects with a local small business or organization that needs a website built. And then his students actually interview the client, learn what they need for the website, they research the business, and then they're tasked individually with building a website for that business. So they're applying their skills in class to do something useful for the community. And then the client comes back and learns about all of the websites that were created, and then they choose out of all of the class's work a website that they actually use. And last year, our partner was Mojo Coffee, and Angelina Baez, a student at the high school, her website design was actually selected for Mojo's Coffee. And the link is featured on the presentation. If you have time to go back and look, I highly encourage, because it's really neat to see the work that students are doing. And then another example is our human geography class with Jen West. And a big goal in her class is for students to learn GIS mapping software. So she ties that into the client-connected project that she does each year. And she partners with a area nonprofit to do some research, and the students create project proposals for the nonprofit. And last year they worked with Missouri Donate Life to identify counties in the state that have a low organ donor registration, and then the students created presentation software using the GIS software. They're called story maps, and presented their strategies to increase sign up to the clients. And then the client actually uses that research and uses that work to promote their organization. And then in our engineering class with Shane Remley, they do a different type of client-connected project where a member of the community partners with the class, and then the students learn about that client and what their needs and wants are. And then the students use Revit software, which is industry standard software, that they can take that skill with them after the project to design house plans for the client. And we actually have one of our fabulous engineering students here, Ava Mays. And word on the street is from Mr. Remley that she has one of the best house design projects in high school history. So Ava is going to tell a little bit about her project.
Hi, I'm Ava Mays, and yeah, this was my project last year. It was my second client-connected project. My first one was with Mr. Baez in sociology, but I really enjoyed this one a lot more because I do want to pursue architecture as a career, and I'm starting to apply to colleges right now, and it's given me something really useful to use in my portfolio. I really love this experience. It took a while, but I really liked getting to use Revit, and like she said, it is like an industry standard, and I communicated with my client probably weekly to get what she wanted in her house design, and these are some of my plans. This is the front render of the house, and then some of the floor plans. And then I rendered some of the interiors. My client really wanted to go with like a modern approach to her house, and I just really did my best to communicate with her weekly and give her what she wanted, but also take my own little creative liberty, just so I could like get used to what it was like making a project in Revit. That's kind of all I have to say. I really liked the experience, and I think it was really worth it.
Thank you, Ava. That was great. All right, next, we'd like to highlight the work that the graphic design class does. Their teacher is Angie Carmack, and each year she partners within the district. So this is an in-house client-connected project, and she learns about the needs of clubs and organizations. And then the students create professional quality pieces, logos, marketing work that's actually used within the district. And some of the work that you're about to see, hopefully that you recognize, and this is student created. And we have 2 graphic design students here to share a little bit about their experience and share their work as well. We're going to start with Lakin Staub.
I'm Lakin Staub, and so I really enjoyed my Client Connected project because I think it taught us a lot of useful skills that can come in handy, like in the future, very good. And so it taught us, so our teacher, she basically gave us a client, and we had to communicate with that client like weekly, and we had to do all the communicating and talk to her, and she gave us what she wanted, and we had to meet her expectations by like a certain deadline. And it also gave us, I think it helped us with connections that we can use in the future. Like, I don't really know what I want to do in the future, but I know that I have those connections that can come in useful and references, and it also is a really good resume builder. And so first semester, we kind of learned how to do Photoshop and use everything, and then we really used it for like the clients in second semester. And yeah, that's basically how it worked.
You did a great job, Lakin. Thank you. Your work looks great too. All right, and then we have Bella Payne. She'd like to tell a little bit about her experience with client-connected projects and showcase her work as well.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Bella Payne. Thank you for this opportunity for me to come and share my experience with client-connected projects. I would like to go more into depth about the communication side of it, because I could go over like what we did in class, but I feel like the main focus that like I took away from my experience is definitely communication. Throughout like the entire year working with clients, the biggest part was communicating with them, asking them what they wanted for their projects, asking them what they want us to change. And this communication has definitely helped me carry that outside into the real world, especially since right now I have an internship, and this communication has helped me communicate with my bosses, helped me communicate with patients that come in every single day. So communication is definitely key, and it's definitely a key part of the things that I've learned. And I think carrying these skills will definitely help me in the future, like applying to colleges, job interviews. It's just like a really big part of the whole entire Client Connected program. Thank you.
Thanks, Bella. That was great. Thank you to all of our students for sharing their experience. And as you can see, these projects are so much more than just solving a problem for clients. The students are building real professional skills that they're going to carry with them outside of their high school experience. And lastly, we'd like to showcase one of our great client-connected teachers, or client-connected project teachers at the high school. This is Caitlin Fountain, and she'd like to share a little bit of her experience with her botany class. And Caitlin was actually asked by the Kauffman Foundation to mentor other teachers in the entire Kansas City metro area and show them how to do client-connected projects. So she's a model teacher in this area.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Fountain. I teach biology, astronomy, and botany at the high school. I started doing client connection projects in my botany class around 2022. And then, like she said, I also am a mentor teacher at the Kauffman Foundation for client connection projects. And it is my 3rd year mentoring there. And we've heard from our students about their experiences, so I want to share a little bit about the teacher side of things. One of the biggest advantages I would say to client connection projects in the classroom is that it kind of flips the classroom to a student-centered learning model where students really take advantage of their learning. They are leading they're learning. It's less of myself up there lecturing students and more of our students working, collaborating together and learning different skill sets that they're going to take on after high school and whatever they choose to do. And so in my botany classroom, how my client connection projects look, in the summer or during the school year, I find some clients. I send out an email, I have a set of students. Do you have a problem that my botany students could solve for you? And from there, they say, hopefully, yes. And then I turn it over to the students. I say, here's your client. Here's briefly what they want. Here's their contact information. Go. And then it just becomes a student-centered project. And watching students really take pride in what they create is one of the biggest, I would say, advantages of these client connection projects. They're not only getting new skill sets that they're going to take on after high school, they're getting real-world experiences while in our school. And so some of our examples that my students have done is landscaping designing at for the First United Methodist Church in Kearney. They've designed plant labs to be used in the after-school Spark Academy. They've worked with Joyful Noise. For these botany labs, they have done recently pollination gardens designed those gardens for the Kearney parks and for Clay County parks. I had students that actually presented their different plans to the Kearney Board of Aldermen and to the Kearney Parks Board this past school year. And what's really cool to see is that students are seeing their work being used. And so we give them a project and they take the lead and then they see it in our community and they see, their education, what they're creating matters and is actually shaping our community. And so I'll save you the time. I could talk for hours, I feel like, about client connection projects. I am all about them because it truly does shape our students for the better, and they are leaving our high school with skill sets that are just going to help them prosper in whatever they choose to do after high school. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question. I did want to just say, I wanted to echo what Bella said, actually, which is I'm glad that you're having them take the communication, because that is what sets a really good employee apart from maybe one that's not as good. We have engineers at my company, and I can tell you that if you have an engineer that can communicate with folks, that is worth its weight in gold. And so I'm sure you guys had experiences where you went to the client and the client probably said something like, I don't know, just make it look pretty or something like that. And so that is that ability to be able to communicate and tease out what the client really wants and what they're saying. And that is maybe the most important skill you learned, even though I think you're all very talented at what you do. So I'm glad to hear we do that, and I hope you guys will continue to use those skills.
Do students kind of get on a track of the MVAs that they do? So like once you do one, do you do the same thing, or what does that actually look like? So do I gain more experience in a specific area, or so if I know I want to be an architect, do I do that twice, or so I can keep going, or do I do something else? What is that?
Yes, and they can. So it's personalized to, the teachers have the option to include a client-connected project or an internship, or have the students do an industry-recognized credentialing program in their classroom, and then the students can choose which classes they want to take. So, for example, if a student like Ava really enjoyed her time in the engineering class, then she can the next year take the advanced engineering class and do a separate client-connected project that builds upon her skills from the previous year. And then the class content builds upon the
And likewise, if the first one didn't go well, you can, oh, not doing that again, I can go on and I've learned and I can move away from that.
Yes, and try a different area.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have in our program studies, we have identified classes that have client.
Okay, so there's some sort of a menu, you know what you're getting into when you enroll in that course.
Interested in.
Okay.
Our English 3 kids, they all take a client connected project. So every junior who has English 3 takes a client connected project. That's just a part of something that they put into their curriculum. So they have an opportunity to do it there. What's cool is, and I'm glad she mentioned it, is using that, what she used in the Client Connect project, and is carrying over to her internship. So kids have so many different opportunities now that they didn't have 5 years ago. It's really cool to see this program just take off.
Does this start at sophomore, or do you have to be a junior to start these classes?
We're actually, she told me today that Chris Daniels and some junior high social studies, Alan King are starting.
Oh, great. At freshman level, great.
We're starting stuff younger and younger. I mean, if kids can get in front of clients and work with them, one thing we say is yes, we don't say no. We just say, how can we help?
Great.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, especially considering kind of the communication problems we start to see develop now with our society and kids and stuff, especially in this age range. Ava, Lake, and Bella, thank you guys so much. This is really awesome. I can tell you, I'm an accountant. 90% of my day is communication. So these are skills that they're gold. They're going to take you a lot of places. So.
Thank you all so much for coming.
Hold on, let's get a photo really quick. We'll have you line up in front of the monitor there. Go on, get in there. Get in there, Gus. And then if there's parents, let's get a shot here too, okay? All right. Perfect, big smiles. All right. Yep, perfect, great job. Thank you. Yep.
Oh, I got some sort of fun house with this thing looking at me.
Surrounded.
Yeah.
Can we get like 1,000 copies of that?
I'm a tad scared.
Why am I so much higher than you?
That's how your chair said. I know, I felt like it was going. Okay, next on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
You want to say we don't have
And we don't have any public comment before that, sorry, no public comment. Next.
Okay, thank you. My comments are going to be really brief, and I'm just going to tack on to a couple of the presentations tonight. First, I'm so glad that Kearney High School, Dr. Gustafson, Mrs. Berry, Mrs. Fountain, and the students came and gave that presentation. Real-world learning has been a commitment since 2018. And so it's so great to see that come to fruition and see that actualized 9th grade through 12th grade. One of the things that I wanted to add on is we're looking at this as a system, pre-K-12. And so when you think about elementary, what we're doing at the elementary level, we're trying to instill those same skills through project-based learning so that they can see it all the way through the system, project-based learning, and then we start some of that exploration at the middle school and junior high levels. So they're ready to launch into what's going to happen at the high school. The other thing I wanted to mention was Mr. Schwinn's presentation. I want to thank him for that great tax rate presentation. I don't know if you're aware, but coming from Kansas to Missouri, it's a little bit different, isn't it, Mr. Schwinn? Yeah. So one of the pieces that I just wanted to add on to his presentation was in regards to Senate Bill 190, and just as a little education piece, when we look at the senior citizen tax credit, we have to look at that as revenue for all those properties. And then CPI is then factored in and reduced. So when you think about the impact of that, it's pretty significant, reducing that $220,000 during a reassessment year. So I just thought I'd add a little color there. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda.
Move the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have information items, bond project update.
Was just going to make a quick comment. The report that you see posted there might look a little different than previous months. I tried to make the numbers a little bigger, a little easier to read, and I wanted to add a column so you could see percent complete. I mean, that's what we're wanting to know is, okay, when are these projects wrapping up? How much did they cost? And eventually, as they do wrap up, we'll be able to report back whether they were we're going to report back that they were under budget, but if they were over, we would let you know that too. But so far, everything's been doing very well, but I don't want to steal Mr. Nolan's thunder. So there's the numbers. If you have any questions, be sure and reach out to me. Or if you have suggestions on the reporting format, let me know. I'm all about feedback. I want it to be something that makes sense to you all and also the public. So I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you.
And to follow along with that, our summer projects that have been, the additions and renovations at our 3 elementary schools are essentially done, with the exception of some punch item pieces to it, things like fabric tack boards that haven't come in yet, some wall illustrations and things like that had to get refabricated, and some carpet had to get ordered. So we're waiting on a few of those items to come in, and that will be the conclusion of those additions and renovations. As far as the deferred maintenance items, they're a little further behind. Some of it was because of materials not coming in on time, some reduction in workforce for some of the subcontractors, and so on. We anticipate a lot of those deferred maintenance items being completed throughout the month of October. One that will stretch out a little further is the north and west wall at the middle school. The replacement of the exterior panels on those walls. I don't understand exactly how the shipping works, but somehow they're going to come in on November 1st. And so that'll back that up a little bit. But we anticipate completion of a lot of those projects throughout the month of October. And then that way, at that point, we can get a little better idea and working with Newkirk, Novak, and Doug about where we're at on getting contingencies back and the money that we would have returning to us. Happy to answer any questions if you've seen around, have questions about any of the projects.
So some of the delay too is because they're working around school, right? Because I'm seeing work on Saturdays and
Correct.
things like that.
Yes.
Which is great that they're trying to do that. And I had a couple people call me about what is that smell, but
Well,
that's the roof stuff. And they're doing that outside of school hours too, right?
They,
For the most part.
they
sounds
are
like.
for the most part. The
Makes sense.
the problem, Hawthorne and the middle school roof is drug on. There was we had a nice June, but it wasn't nice for roofing. They had a lot of rain and storms, and so those crews, they work on completing the projects that they are on. That backs them up in June, and so then that puts them starting with us later, and that's exactly what happened.
Will the wall panels be able to be put up during school, or will they have to be
They will be after school hours.
after school hours?
Any other questions?
I had just a few questions more around kind of format and such of, I really like the breakout of the main projects. I didn't know if that would be potentially possible for, the main lines for like reallocated projects and also the deferred maintenance, if we can categorize those to see kind of, the main, categorize those into a little bit more of a, segregated buckets just to see. And then my other question was just, I think more for Doug, actually. Right now, this is showing that we'll have roughly 2.3 million left over after everything's said and done. I'm assuming as we get down to the financial report, that's included in that June figure for the financials. Is that correct? The 4.6 million?
No, that is.
Okay. Because in the capital fund, at the ending fund balance? Okay. Because my other question would be, with that 2.3 million, is that something that we're exploring, potentially using it to, do additional projects that can hopefully help hedge against future operational expenses, especially with the tax rate?
So yes,
Shortfalls.
the short answer to that is the first ones on that list are some flooring items and roofing items that didn't get started on this first batch, but were in our want and need list. And so because there was so much construction going on, we couldn't handle those at the same time. So that's going to be accounted for in a lot of that.
Cool.
Yeah,
dollar
so
amount.
we're currently working actively with MOCAT, with Newkirk, to really try to hone in on what that actual dollar amount is, you know, because we invested a lot of dollars, there was a lot of interest earnings, so trying to land. And yes, to answer your question, we will have probably additional projects that we'll bring forward to the board, prioritized maintenance work that we can complete.
Are we pretty confident as I look in the projects that, starting with Kearney Elementary renovation and going down from there, we're 63 and 60 and 92% done. Are we pretty confident that we're going to hit budget on those? This spreadsheet is just amazing to me because I don't know that I've ever seen something be on the penny the way this one is. And so is that unusual? Is that just a good planning? Like, what am I missing here? I feel like it's almost too perfect, right? Like, it's like when my kids tell me that they've already cleaned their rooms, like something's wrong.
If you're referring to the fact that some of them are at 100%, and well, my previous experience, I think what was being done here is once you get towards the end, let's say it comes in at 95% of the budget, you save 5%. At some point in time, that money will get rolled over into another project. So that's just showing that those are spent out. Whatever we saved, and that was before my time, it's already been moved down, reallocated, and off and running on another project.
And on these ones that are 60 and 92%, they must be running pretty close to on budget then.
Oh, yes. Our conversations with Newkirk Novak is that all of those should be coming in under budget, and there's contingency setting there. We don't know exactly yet because it takes a while for those final invoices to flush their way out, and they usually hold a retention until they know everything is absolutely complete.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a timing thing. Even though we can see pretty much the finished product, it's going to take probably another month, maybe two, before we can actually zero those projects out.
Okay, well, I will tell you, I see a lot of construction projects, and very rarely are things on budget these days. So that's good to see.
And early indications are, I think everything's coming in under budget, so.
Good.
I mean, these numbers were locked in a while ago.
Yeah,
though,
the
right?
construction manager at risk delivery system helps to ensure that, right? When you have a guaranteed maximum price.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Hang on, we don't take questions.
Okay. We need to, I'm sorry, we can't have questions from the audience. If you want to have a question after we're finished, you can. Okay, next is
Program evaluation.
Financials.
financials.
Sorry. I was ahead. Just kidding.
All right, I think this is my final trip to the podium. So financials, you're going to see the standard reports. I know the one that draws the most attention is that final percent. Where are we looking at? I did not change it from last month. There's going to be some ups and downs along the way, but I still feel pretty confident we're going to end up over 20%, and I'm hoping closer to 22. So, but anyhow, that's where we're at today. I feel like everything's kind of coming in right where we think, but it's still too early, and I'm still too new to be exact as far as where that target's going to be. But for now, I'm happy to report we're still above 20. So, any questions? And I know the goal is to clean up some of these reports, make them a little more user-friendly, look at what some of our neighbors are doing, and hopefully make some changes around January timeframe. So look for that coming down the pike, because I want reports that are easy to read. You can take a quick glance and kind of know where things are at. So again, appreciate your feedback on any of them, and be happy to clean them up for the future. So that I'll take any questions if you have them.
Doug, I might just ask about Fund 5.
Fund
Fund
5.
5 is the partially funded self-insurance, and the reason I'm asking about it is it's new.
It is.
But when I look at that flow of those dollars, it makes no sense to me. I see there are months where that's negative revenue, and then it kind of all works out there at the end. How should we think about that? How do the dollars flow? Help me understand what I should be looking for there.
Yeah, it's a tricky fund. First of all, when you start off the plan year, you're going to get hit right out of the gate because some of the high claimants haven't hit that pooling threshold yet. Once they start to hit that threshold, then we no longer have to absorb those claim dollars. And then we have rebates that are coming in.
Can you jump in?
Yeah, if you want to jump in, go right ahead.
So, since this was our first year, we actually ran in the black, but not much in the black, so we didn't have much of reserve built up. And so, when you go with that January 1 start date for the plan year, usually when education, that's when everyone goes to the doctor over the summer. So, we'll have a big group of claims in July, August, September, and even into October. And it takes about 90 days for a lot of those to roll in. So with a low fund balance at the beginning, we can go negative early. And then as things kind of trickle out, as we collect our premiums for every month, which is, $400,000 to $500,000 for our group, that fund balance builds back up over time. And so sometimes we have to feed a little money into that fund to pay the bills, but eventually it works out at the end, like you said.
There's some cyclical nature to it.
Absolutely. And as we move forward, as we build that reserve, that cyclical nature will flatten out.
And I think just to echo Jason's question, my question, because I think when I look at this and I see the negative amounts, they're actually in the expenditures row. So is that due to rebates being
it's rebates
collected or
coming back
something?
in,
Okay.
Yeah. And what I basically did was look at last year's cycle, the way and kind of trended it to mirror what happened last year. And it may not be anywhere close to that because you just don't know when people are going to go to the doctor and when big events are going to happen, or when hopefully some people get off of, a major drug or recover from a major surgery. So it is the one budget that I would not bet money on coming anywhere close. But hopefully by the end of the year, all the numbers as a whole would flush out and be fairly close.
So what happens between January and February? What's big there? Because it's like from $618,000 to $190.
As far as the balance?
Yeah, like what's going on there?
Well, that's when everyone's deductibles reset.
And so now we're cranking it out again.
Yep.
And claims.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It also depends when, so we, unfortunately, in a district our size, we do have some high-cost claimants, and if you have one come in a month,
Okay.
unfortunately, someone has a catastrophic, it could be cancer, it could be anything.
Okay.
And that's why we have the reinsurance, and that's what Doug was referring to, not only in the pharmacy rebates, but with specific insurance. So if someone does have a catastrophic claim, we're insured up to $200,000, and once they hit that mark, we start getting reimbursed for any expense above that, which also helps. So at the beginning of the year, we're waiting till everyone hits that deductible mark, and then once they go over that, we start receiving reimbursement on our reinsurance, and that's why we pay the premiums for that. It protects the district from going over a max number. We know what our max numbers are going to be, so we'll never go over that. The bet is that we won't hit that max number, and we'll recoup those premiums when we're in a fully insured model. We pay the premiums to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we don't ever see them back. So we're playing a little bit of it's not a gamble. It's a game that if we hope people are healthy and we can save money is what it boils down to. And we don't have to raise premiums that way, if that makes any sense.
It does. Okay. Thank you.
And you'll see most self-funded plans, I think 8 out of 10 years you save money on average. So I've always wanted to be part of a self-funded plan, and this is the first time I get to experience it. So this is new. I'm kind of excited about it because I do think long-term it will save the district money from everything I've read and studied. So, all right, thank you.
Mr. Schwinn. Okay, program evaluation, grant-funded programs, the written evaluation. We had a chance to look at it. Any questions?
I had a few questions. I'm full of questions tonight. I don't know who'd be best suited to answer this, but as I was reading, I noticed like the Kaufman grant, which seems to be very beneficial, is at an end. I'm just wondering, is there an alternative that's being identified, or is there another opportunity that's available?
We just picked that up as a local expense.
Okay.
We built that into the budget.
And the Kaufman grant is designed to get a lot of systems in place that weren't currently there. As you heard Dr. Gus say, We looked at it, and a lot of teachers said, no, I don't think I can do that. That has well been established in KSD, and I believe the cost to get that kind of buy-in and get moving forward was expended throughout that grant. So the systems piece is a big deal when you have to, kind of change mindsets and do some adult learning throughout that process, and that's what a lot of that, some of that money went towards. So that's a great question.
So it was seed money, really directed towards Emmy's position in particular, and we find value in that position, so that's why we, again, built that into our budget.
Gotcha, okay. I just knew that, I saw that it had a position tagged with it. I also know that, it was a fairly substantially large grant, and so I wanted to make sure.
Very good. All right. Next, we have, here we go. We keep going down here.
Move to rescind board policy G250P and I140P effective September 24th of 2025, and move to adopt effective September 24th, 2025, the same board policy numbers as presented today.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the adoption of the board manual.
Move to adopt the 2025-2026 board manual as presented.
Second?
Questions? Everybody's had a chance to review. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Ratification of change orders.
Move to ratify the change orders with the Garland Company and the Kerberg Company as presented.
Second?
So asking for a ratification of a change order for the metal on Hawthorne roof. And this was a oversight within the planning. And so this would be to match the addition, lighter color, and have it. Essentially, we would be paying for this out of some contingency money that was set aside, and unsure of the total value of a reduction in scope that was would be a refund to us, but it should be close. Either way, this will be paid for out of the 2022 bond funds. Questions on that?
This is just to make it look uniform to all the other buildings, is that the idea?
No, it'd be uniform to the addition on the north side of Hawthorne.
Like having a gray wall next to a white wall.
Okay. Got it.
Drive you nuts.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Approval of the activities manual.
Move to approve the 2025-2026 activities manual as presented.
Second?
The updates in the manual reflect some personnel changes, some date changes, but the main change, as you saw in the red, was the update of the MSHA policy for the non-traditional student that coincides with state law. And that guidance just came out from MSHA last month, so that's why you're seeing it now. Normally, we would have this for you in June.
Questions? Just curious, I think maybe people would be interested, how many non-traditional students do we have participating at this point? 5? Okay. Thank you. 4 are in out. Oh. 4 are eligible. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Approval of the revised miscellaneous salary schedule.
Move to approve the revised miscellaneous salary schedule for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
Second.
So this miscellaneous salary schedule has been updated for the SPED and gifted testing. The rate's been raised to coincide with our market.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Assessment plan 25-26.
Move to approve the 2025-2026 assessment plan as presented.
Second?
This assessment plan is nothing that is changing in our district. It's simply capturing the work that we do to meet the Missouri learning standards and assess those through the Missouri Assessment Plan or program as required by state statute, and also to then address the Missouri learning standards that are not addressed in the Missouri Assessment Plan. So that is through local assessments, so that document encompasses everything. There's no budget requirement or cost for this. It's already been happening throughout the years. This is just capturing through the Missouri MSIP 6 Missouri School Improvement Program cycle that we're currently in. So we're just making sure that it's captured and we have it documented as current practices. So, and it requires board approval, and it also requires it to be posted on our website. So that's why you're seeing it tonight. Any questions?
Has this been brought to us before?
No, it hasn't.
Okay, no questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Approval of positions.
Move to approve adding the following positions to the 2025-2026 school year. Assistant varsity cheer coach, head boys volleyball coach, assistant boys volleyball coach, assistant girls 7th grade basketball coach, assistant boys 7th grade basketball coach.
Second?
So these positions, one of the positions, specifically varsity cheer, we have over 40 girls participating in varsity cheer, which is a great number. But we like to keep our sponsor to athlete ratio about 10 to 12. And in order to keep those kids safe, we have adequate supervision. We're asking for another position there. The other 4 are for the new men's volleyball program that will be in the spring. And then the 7th grade basketball program that we've adopted that will happen this winter.
Do we already know interest numbers coming in for the volleyball and the 7th grade basketball?
I don't know numbers for 7th grade basketball, but correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lucan, we had 12, 14 boys interested in volleyball. 21, okay.
Right.
That's great.
We only have assistant 7th grade basketball coaches. Is there?
Yeah, so Kelly Gentry will still be the head of the junior high program.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll just add this in
Correct.
addition.
Yes, two more coaches to help with the other new kids.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Board member comments? I have a couple things. Mr. Nolan, you brought us a change to order tonight, and I just want to commend you that we have not had very many of those, so thank you. Sometimes there's a lot, and we have not had very many of those as we've done this entire bond project, so thank you very much for your work on that, as well as a lot of other people. The other thing, ma'am, I'm sorry, I cannot see you, but I just wanted to say that because okay. I'm sorry. Well, it's our policy. I was following the policy by how we run our meetings, so it's just my responsibility to make sure we stick to that. But I would encourage you to ask any questions later. Thank you.
Darlene, I just wanted to commend all the folks in this room that have worked on 7th grade basketball and boys volleyball. I think all of us have heard from quite a few constituents that are very excited about those programs. So thanks for making that a reality. I know that those things are probably not as seamless or as easy as you've made it look. And I think folks are excited about that. I know I'm excited to go watch some boys volleyball. I think that'll be very exciting, and I think it's a good change. So I just want to congratulate you on getting that done.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Next, important dates. The 29th is the Recess Forever lunch. October 7th is our board work session. That one's in the morning, right? And October 10th is homecoming, and our next board meeting will be October 15th. Miscellaneous?
Action for closed session to immediately precede the regular meeting in October, including any record or vote to discuss items and issues allowable under Section 610-021 of the Missouri Sunshine Law.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Matt Baker,
Yes.
Jason Klint,
Aye.
Jake Klingensmith,
Yes.
Christina Lindsay,
Yes.
Bree Switzer,
Yes.
Nick Vaskus,
Yes.
Darlene Bailey.
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.